What's up, everyone? My name is Josh. Welcome to Techology. For those of you guys, just wanted to do a quick live stream today, kind of explain to you some of my ideas, some of my thoughts for going live. For helping you land your first job, and I'm super psyched about that. So you can find out more about me at tech-ology.co. Techology.co is literally just a brand. It's a business that I'm starting that's really going to help people land their first job in technology. And so you can check us out on YouTube. You can check us out on. You can hang out with me on LinkedIn. There's in the description of this video. You can find me on LinkedIn. You can find me on YouTube. All that kind of stuff there. So I'm super psyched to be with you. So let me tell you a little bit about myself. So my name is Josh. I'm 33. I live in Northern California. I have 6 children, and I'm happily married, and I'm having a good time doing Salesforce development. And I'm like a lot of you, right? Like I came from coding bootcamp. I came from a non-technical background. I went through coding bootcamp. As a matter of fact, we moved up here. We were having some really tough times through a series of really unfortunate events. Our family was just dead broke. We were so broke. We were on food stamps for a little while, and I went from that to literally tripling my salary from when I wasn't doing software development, and it was an amazing thing. And so I did that in about 1.5 years, and I did that the way I landed actually my first job, which was even before I graduated boot camp. The way I did that was I'm going to share some strategies actually today with how teaching you how I did some of those things. So I think today's going to be really helpful for a lot of you. And it's interesting because now I actually get to be on the other side of things where I actually get to help hire people and help bring people on. And I'm a part of that hiring process. I get to watch how people answer questions. I'm learning a ton doing it this way. And I'm realizing there are some key things that I think people are missing. And so now being the interviewee and being the interviewer, combining both of those worlds, I want to share with you some of the things that I love and some of the things that I've learned. All right. So let's check this out. Let's hop on here real fast. So before we jump into what we're talking about today, if you go to tech-ology.co, then you can sign up to be a part of our email list. This lets you know all the times we're going live and all the times we release helpful content to you. I think this is going to be a great place for you to sign up. Also, I'm going to give you some of my favorite places to apply for junior dev jobs and remote jobs. So if that's something that interests you, then great. Sign up. We'd love to have you be a part of the family. Let's jump into some of the meat and potatoes of what I am talking about today. All right. Okay, so here we are, and we're hanging out, right? Today, what's up, Tiago? Good to see you, man. So today I want to chat with you a little bit about what it's like being on the other side of the interview table, right? Like, I'm sitting here, I'm trying to interview people, and as I'm working with junior devs, I'm trying to answer 2 main questions, okay? I have 2 big fears that usually come up when I'm trying to work with junior devs, okay? Let me walk you through what these 2 big fears are. Number 1. As I'm sitting there and I'm looking at you, or as I'm reading through your resume, I want to know, can you do this job? Like, do you actually have the skills to make this happen, right? Maybe you've graduated coding bootcamp, maybe you've done some classes. Like, I just want to know, can you do the job? Why? And why is that important? And it's kind of for the second reason as well. This is my second fear. Will they be so bothersome to me, like they don't know how to do their job so much that actually instead of, I'm actually going to have to stop doing what my responsibility is and like the things that I'm supposed to do in order to really help them kind of succeed and do this and get their responsibilities done, right? So I'm wondering, these are the 2 things that are floating around in my head. Can this person do this job? And 2, or are they going to be so kind of behind that I'm going to have to really coach them, really teach them things, all right? And so what is the answer to these 2 fears? And the answer to that is experience. Now, experience is easy to talk about, but how the heck does this thing come from? Like, is there an experience fairy that's going to drop it from the sky? Like, what does this look like? Because, most jobs won't give you a shot unless you have experience. but you can't get experience if no one gives you a shot. And so you're in this catch-22 of, what do I do here? I'm stuck here, how can I get out of this? And so that's what I want to show you today. I want to show you 3 tangible ways you can actually get experience. I'm going to show you one way that I did, and I think this is going to be really helpful for some of you guys that are looking to really boost up your resume. Okay, so let's head back to the other screen here. I want to walk you through 3 ways to get practical experience. Let me walk you through my first favorite way. My first favorite way for you to get experience is this website here. It's called Volunteer Match. Now, Volunteer Match is this idea of, of you are giving your time, your energy, the things that you've learned to 501c3 nonprofits nearby. So whether you love to help people, whether you love to help build wells in Africa, whether you love you'd love to be a part of helping human trafficking, whether you'd love to help your local animal shelter, like keep better track of the animals and different things like that. Like, this is the place for you to go in, and you can sign up. And the beautiful thing is now, I don't know if you saw this, but they have virtual opportunities, so you can do remote, right? You can come in as someone with a little bit of experience or maybe no experience. You can come into some of these places and you get to work on real life projects. Sad to say, there is a bit of a disconnect from what you learn at coding bootcamp to real life projects. Like, there's some things like trying to understand a code base, like getting in there and trying to mess with that stuff is kind of a bit of a tough sell to get into some of these companies. But this gives you an opportunity to do that, because you're actually going to give some of your time to help some of these companies. Let's scroll through. So I work on Salesforce stuff. Okay, so they're looking for here, maybe some of you guys have your administrator certification, and you're looking for a way to really help a nonprofit. Well, these people are helping Haiti, and they just are going to do some. This is they're looking for an advanced admin, set up their Salesforce content, serve as the main administrator, use and create report types, all this kind of stuff. So what you would do with this is you'd actually go here. They're only looking for about 5 hours a week of time. That's not a ton of time, right? You can still continue your job search. You can still continue all the things you're doing. And this 5 hours a week here, they'll work with your schedule. So you want to help, you sign up here, you click on it, you put your application in, you let them know, I want to help, I want to be a part of this project. Is there a small part of this project I can tackle? And meanwhile, you're going to really build skills and get to put to practice some of the things that you've been learning, right? So this is a great place to do that. For some of you guys, maybe you're looking for, you went to, where's that search? There's a way to search. Here it is. So under search, well, let me click it for whatever reason. Anyways, the point was, I just wasn't being patient. Okay, let me get this out of here. So let me click on virtual again. And then let me just click on like Node.js, right? Or I just put Node. It says the location's required. It's actually not. These guys are looking for web developers. They're looking for JavaScript developers. These are the things that you've been learning. So anyways, my point is you can give and volunteer some of your time to hang out here and really help serve, give to places that are really making a difference in the world. And you get to give some of your time. And this is something that you can put on your resume. And I'll show you how to do that, okay? In just a second. So Volunteer Match is one of my favorite places. Now, another thing that I like to do is that I like to tell people, and to really help them kind of build some of this experience, is really is contributing to open source projects. Okay. So this is a website I like to use. It's called goodfirstissues.com. And what is goodfirstissues.com? Goodfirstissues.com is, these are repositories on GitHub, and hopefully some of you guys aren't super aren't super techie and aren't super developed. You're not in the developer mindset yet. That's okay. Come back to this when you are. But GitHub has these different open source projects that you can contribute to, and they'll mark some of their issues on these projects. They'll mark them as good for first time people. So like if you want to learn and build skills on how you can contribute to an open source project, that's an awesome way to do that. And so let me see if I can find one here. that I thought was really cool. Add support for Mac OS. So like we only support Windows, so we want a junior dev to come in and help us be Mac OS friendly. Hey, maybe you're good at that. Maybe that's for you. Let's see. Design for Spotify. Here's a good one. Here's a great one. Importing modules Python tutorial. So this will be something that you can. So there's a button down here. Go to issue, right? And so if you learned Python, or if you have an idea of what that is, click on this. And do you see now I'm in this repository teaching Python like I'm 5, which is awesome. And then this is an open issue. They're help wanted, and it's a good first issue. What does that mean? Good first issue means that if you're a first-time contributor to this repository, they think this is a great way for you to get your feet wet to contributing to this. So what I would do is I would then go. So you'd read, what do they want you to do? Populate using modules or importing modules.py with a tutorial and a challenge. All you're going to do here is, if you've ever imported a module into your Python file, then all you're going to do is just write a little tutorial on how to do that. So you're going to go into the code section. It's going to walk you. You're going to take a look at the code base, how it's written. This is very current, a few days ago, and you're going to check out more information about it. And then it looks like this is all tutorials here on how to do different things when you're working with Python. And here's importing modules.py. All they want you to do is there's a brief tutorial description, and you're going to write some code here explaining with concepts, with comments, explaining how to really give to this repository. Okay. Now, what I would do is on my resume, I'll show you my resume in just a second, or at least an old version of it. And on my resume, I'd have a project section, and I would talk about, I'd have open source projects. A lot of people like to see, oh, this person. When you contribute to open source, it gives you this idea of like, oh, this person doesn't just do this for cash, like they actually have a passion for this. They're they're doing this on their own time. Same with volunteering, right? I'll show you a better way how I think you can kind of put this on your resume in just a second. And so then you would just kind of create a pull request to that. Now, some of you guys are wondering, how the heck do I create a pull request? What do I do? Oh, here's another website I like to use, goodfirstissue.dev instead of .com. It's kind of the same thing. But what I wanted to show you is this. This is called First Contributions. If you're ever wondering, how do I ever, like, what do I do if I want to, like, contribute to a project? This whole deal here is exactly how to do that. You're going to just follow this step by step. You're going to fork a repository, clone the repository. This is what you type in your terminal. Like, it's all these things, okay? And you guys are, what's up, Epi? Good to see you, man. So you guys are going to create, you can create branches, all this kind of stuff. So yeah, this gets kind of into the weeds here. But all you're going to type in is github.com and look for first contributions, and that's going to be helpful to you. All right. So that's the second way. So first way, sign up to help volunteer organizations. The good way about doing it that way is that they usually have some staff or some people that know what they're doing, so they can kind of coach you a little bit. This way is really cool. Teach you how to get into code bases, how to really mess around with stuff. This will get you some cool experience. Last but not least, I want to show you the way that I did it, and this is my website. So what I did was, when I was I was a pastor, I was in ministry, I was helping people, helping our community, and I needed to make some side cash, right? Like we weren't quite making it. It was always nice to have some side cash. And so what I did was I actually created my own web design agency, okay? And I just called it Digital Monastery. Fun fact, I spelled monastery wrong. It's supposed to be M-O-N-O-S-E, M-O-N-O-S, monastery, and I spelled it monastery. I had no clue about that until a few years later. But anyways, fun fact over. But the point is what I did was I created a Digital Monastery. And what I started doing was I started creating websites. You can see that I branched off into digital marketing as I do search engine optimization, and then I specifically niched down helping people like with their with real estate, because I just have a passion for real estate. So that's kind of what I did there. But I also did website design. What I want to show you is I did this section here called Our Work. Our Work, there wasn't no R, it was just me, right? And what I did was I built these websites here. And this website's a little old too. I haven't updated it in a long time. But what I did was I built all these websites here on WordPress. Well, most of these websites on WordPress. And I used a page builder, something like Elementor or Beaver Builder. And I would drag elements onto the web page, drop them, and I would create and design these websites, sometimes using templates, sometimes freely making them myself, okay? And this was a great way for people to see, this is my design eye. This is what I can create. This is what I like to create. And so what I did was I started doing some of these websites, and I did them for free, and some of them I got paid just for family and friends, right? And yeah, so these are just links to different places that I did. Here's one. I'll open this one up here. This is one I just did for my brother-in-law. And most of these websites are just one-page websites, right? It's just a one-time thing here. And all I did, this took me a day, I think this one did, you know, and I even, you know, this is literally my brother-in-law's business. I left him a testimonial here. I asked him for some pictures, some before and after pictures, right? So people can see that he does trash removal and all that kind of stuff. I created this contact us form, and then I left some information for him at the bottom. So look, I even haven't updated it since 2017. Site designed by Digital Monastery. So this was my website. So what happened was on my resume, what I did was I started listing, because I did this a long time ago, I started listing myself as, I started listing Digital Monastery as my employer. And so what I did was, and now I guess, yeah, so I had this list of websites that worked really well. And this one I actually did, this is pretty much custom CSS, HTML, little JavaScript, jQuery here and there for this website that I made. It's a help site. You know, and this was, let me show you this other website. This was another website. This is a Salesforce. This is in Salesforce, actual Salesforce success community. We did an X-ray thing. I actually didn't design any of this. I just kind of built it. But the point is this site here helped me land my first contract job. My first contract job was with a local a local software development firm here that worked on Salesforce. That opened up the door for them to get to know me and get to see my work ethic and all this kind of stuff. And as I did that, they started, as they saw, okay, this guy does good work. They brought me on full time, and then that's what got me actual, some development experience. So this WordPress stuff was very helpful. Now I want to show you just a quick hack. Here's what I did. So this is my resume, right? And this was, or at least my resume a year or two ago. But what I want to show you was this part here. Let me see if I can get myself out of the way here. So I have web developer here, and what I did was I worked for Digital Monastery, okay? And I did it, ever since 2016 to 2018, right? I built, and this is not, I'm not lying here, this is exactly what I did. I built and edited WordPress websites for small and medium businesses in Los Angeles, increasing activity, online orders through modern design and digital marketing, right? So because I was able to do this, I just asked family and friends, can I build you a website for free? Or can you give me a little money? Tell me what you think it's worth, like pay me that, some of those things, and I built these things. This actually started giving me experience that I could put on my resume. Now, I did not list each website as a project, although I do have projects down here, that I listed under my portfolio, okay? But here I gave myself a job title. I was a web developer for Digital Monastery, and I can call myself whatever I wanted to build that experience, but that's not lying. I can call myself anything that I wanted to call myself because Digital Monastery is my company, and so I can call myself the CEO if I wanted that. But no, what I wanted was experience that I can show people on my resume that would really help people to just see that I've worked on websites before. So another hack that I did was as I worked on, I was kind of oversaw all of the church website stuff. I think I clicked on my email provider. Hopefully that doesn't pop up. But when I was, I haven't even been here in so long. this was the website. This is the website that I helped build, right? And so some of you guys have built a website or have done things like this in the past. And I took all my experience and I really pointed it and really honed it down. I did a ton of things while I worked for Crosswind. But one of the things that I did do was I built this website. So on my resume, I turned a lot of my experience and I really shaved out the stuff that didn't apply. And I talked about how I did a ton of web stuff here, and just I just used basically, so basically my point is with this is if you've ever built a website, if you've ever touched a website at your job, really highlight those points on your resume. And then instead, and even if you're doing an open source project or you're contributing you're volunteering your time to a local nonprofit, then what you can do is you can actually put it all under the umbrella of your company that you are starting. And so there is a bit of a cost to this. I had to buy myself a domain name. I had to buy myself web hosting. I think, web hosting for years, like $100. You can find it cheaper though, way cheaper than that. You can find your domain name for $12. So, maybe it's not $100. Maybe it's something like, $50 or something like that. But anyways, so that's kind of, what's up, Jackson? Good to see you, man. So, that's some of the stuff that I think could be really helpful for some of you guys. I have an extra 5 or so minutes that I'd love to really help people, and good to see you, man. That I'd love to really help people and answer any specific questions that you have when it comes to, really helping you land a first-time job. And so if there's anything that you're going through, any specific questions that you have, I'm just going to take a sip of my tea. Feel free to type them out. If you want me to look over your LinkedIn profile, or if or something like that, like I'd love to do that. If you want me to take a look at your resume, give you some thoughts, I'd love to do that. If not, then we'll call this session kind of over. And you guys, the rest of you guys that are going to watch this at a later date, hopefully you're going to get some value out of all these ways that you can build experience for yourself. So if you're hanging out in the chat, feel free to type something up. Let me know if you want me to answer any questions for you. All right. So, and by the way, for all of you guys that are here, that are hanging out, watching this live, I really appreciate it. My goal is to go live on a more consistent basis. For me, it's more like I'd love to go every day for the next couple of weeks. So that's my goal. We'll see how that goes. How life goes and different things are going on. But so I wanted to let you know that I'm going to be trying to just live stream a little bit this week. I'll answer your question in just a second, Jackson. So thanks for that question. I'm trying to live stream every day this week about this time, just really helping people answer questions. And my main thing is I just want to give you the most value. So, if you're hanging out in the chat, if you're wondering, I'd really love to know what are some of the major pain points that you are experiencing in your job search. All right. So while you type those up, I got a question from Jackson. He said, should we create a different resume if we have a LinkedIn profile, or should we use the LinkedIn profile as our resume? So great question, Jackson. Let me see if I can bring in my LinkedIn profile, right? So let's see. If I go to LinkedIn here, I do like using LinkedIn a lot. I think it's a great way to connect with people. Later this week, I'm going to talk a little bit about this idea of hunting versus fishing, which I think is really important when we're talking about that. Now, the thing is with LinkedIn is a great place for you to show all your stuff, but there's going to be places that you're going to apply to that can't use your LinkedIn resume as a resume. Also, sometimes I've experienced when I'm importing my LinkedIn resume, like it comes through really jumbled. It comes through ugly, and now like I said, now I'm sitting on the other side trying to help people land a job, right? And since I'm on the other side, when a really janky kind of resume walks through, like comes through the door, I'm sitting there and I'm like, I'm not sure how much time I really want to devote to really reading this like really jarbled mess. So my advice to you was, you can send this in. If your LinkedIn is up to date, that's really good for people finding you and people like connecting with you. I think though, there's nothing that's going to be like a resume, a beautiful kind of resume that's well broken up, that I can see all the things that you're good at and really catch, who you are in this one-page piece of paper. So great question, Jackson. So once again, just to kind of say that, I would use a resume. I think having both is very important. You can notice that I have my, make sure your contact information is up to date. I have my GitHub on here that I like, that is a little underutilized right now because we're not using GitHub, at work, and I don't really have a ton of personal projects going on. But yeah, so. Great question there. If there's any other questions, I'd love to answer them. If not, for the rest of you guys, I'm going to give this about 5 seconds for an extra question. If not, I'm calling this a day. Meanwhile, while we're doing that, once again, don't be afraid to check out tech-ology.co and sign up to be a part of our email list. This is a great way for you to stay in touch with whenever we're going live or any of the information that we have for you here. Appreciate it, Jackson. Thank you for, thanks for the resume. I'm going to talk to you about resume templates and beautiful resumes a little bit later too. So cool, guys. Well, that's about it for the day. I appreciate all your time. Thank you for those of you who are watching now, those of you that spent the time to watch it later. In all these descriptions, would you just leave a comment? Let me know if you watched it live or if you watched it after the fact. If you have any questions, for the next probably 48 hours, I'm going to be responding to these questions that you have, trying to really help you. Also catch me tomorrow as we go live for that. For the rest of you guys, it's great hanging out.